Is your law firm's website struggling to get to the top of Google? Well, you're not alone. Many attorneys spend thousands of dollars on SEO and yet get no results or cases through Google search. The problem is that either your law firm or the agency that you're paying is probably focusing on the wrong ranking factors. Well, in today's video, we're going over the top 3 SEO ranking factors in 2025 for your law firm to get high rankings in Google so you could generate more leads and cases through Google search. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we get into it, I really just want to provide a quick overview of what these ranking factors will influence in Google search. So as you can see on this picture on the right, here's a search engine result page for Divorce Lawyer Miami. So you see this red box right here. This is called the local pack. So any goal of any local SEO campaign is to rank in the local pack. And then this blue box down here is going to be your traditional organic search results. So in an ideal world, you really want to show up really well in that red box and also really well in that blue box. There's a lot of different factors that go into each, and they're kind of different, but they are connected. So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit more. So as you'll see on this visualization to the left, provided by Whitespark, here are the factors that feed into the red box, the local pack. 32% of what goes into that ranking algorithm is going to be on your Google business profile. Now, in my last video, I did talk about what you need to do for your law firm on your Google business profile to punch up in the rankings in the local pack. So if you haven't watched it, pause this video and go ahead and watch that video. I'll go ahead and have it linked right here. The next important ranking factor is going to be on-page signals. So the on-page signals are going to be what you need to do on your actual website to influence these rankings. So if you have a really well SEO optimized website, it's really going to influence how you show up in the local pack and how you show up in traditional organic search rankings. What I like to do and the approach I like to take when I'm consulting any law firm is really ranking well in the local pack, ranking well in the traditional organic rankings, and then if they have the budget, put that budget towards local service ads. Those show up right at the top of Google above the local pack. So if you could dominate all 3 areas there, you're going to be generating a lot of qualified leads for your law firm. So moving on, the most important thing you could do for your website is having an optimized site structure, meaning how your website is organized and laid out. So this is an example, and I really like this template here for a site architecture for a law firm. So let's go ahead and dissect this a little bit more, and then we'll be diving into each area here. So right here, you have your home page, and then up here, let's just pretend this is your navigation. You have practice area pages and a blog. This is really simplistic. Ideally, you'll want to have practice area pages, an about us page, a contact us page, and your blog. This particular site structure has locations underneath a practice area page. I found that actually moving the locations page up here is better, but I was kind of running out of room when I was creating this visualization. But ideally, you want to have practice area pages, you want to have location pages, and then you want to have subcategory pages as well. So if this is a personal injury law firm, for example, you'll have a personal injury lawyer practice area page, and then a subcategory page of car accident lawyer and truck accident lawyer. So you're going to want to do this for every main category and subcategory. Anything that your law firm specializes in, you're going to want to go ahead and create pages and organize them like this. So you're giving Google a really solid foundation to crawl and to index and to rank. Same with your location pages. If you are really focusing in, let's just say Miami, for example, you're going to want to create a Miami page, and then eventually you're going to want to expand and go to Boca or any of the surrounding Miami areas. On your blog, you're also going to want to organize it in such a way where each blog post is underneath a category. So like right here, for example, I organize this, so injuries. So you have an injuries page that just has a whole bunch of blog posts about injuries that are targeting middle and bottom of funnel keywords. So average settlement for broken arm in a car accident, or average settlement for brain injury in car accident. These types of blog posts, you're going to want to categorize this as injuries on your website. Having a really optimized and well-structured site architecture is often overlooked, but super important. If you think of Google like a spider, your website is the web that you're giving the spider. So you really want to make sure this web is really linked together really nicely, is organized in an optimal fashion, so Google can make sense of your website and can start ranking these really important pages for your website in Google search and help you rank in the local maps pack. So I really like this example. This is from Jamie Casino's website. He's a personal injury lawyer in Georgia. But as you can see here, you see his navigation. So you have the dream team is the lawyers that are on his website. And then you have all of these practice area pages. And then you have these subcategories. So boom, right here, personal injury. Then you get to truck accidents. Then you get to these subcategories. Then you're going to have these service area pages, so all the locations that he services, and then he has kind of like a lead magnet here for settlement calculations. I really like how he laid this out. And then here is an example of his service areas. So he has a service area page built out for every target location that he's trying to target. Here's a list of pages that you should have on your website. So you're going to want to have practice area pages. You're going to have location pages. You're going to have About Us page. So this is really important for EEAT, which stands for Experience, Expertise, Authoritativeness, and Trustworthiness. Essentially, this is where you can showcase to potential clients and to search engines what your law firm's all about, your credentials. So I would highly recommend having this in your main navigation as well. And like we discussed earlier, you're going to want to have a blog that's organized into different categories. And then what I really like too to really help with EEAT is to have a separate results and client testimonials page. EEAT is an often overlooked SEO ranking factor, but very important. So the more that you can show that you're a very legitimate law firm, that you've handled dozens and hundreds and thousands of cases, that you've been involved in the community for so many years and have won, so many awards, that's going to actually be a really strong ranking factor for Google and is really going to impact how you're showing up in the local maps pack and how you're showing up in traditional organic search as well. So moving on, you really want to focus on, once you have your website organized like this, you're really going to want to focus on the on-page SEO basics for each landing page. So the first thing that you want to focus is title tags. So title tags, yes, 2025 are still very important. In fact, a Google algorithm leak came out earlier at the end of last year, and title tags was still a pretty large contributor in the overall organic rankings. So here's some examples of some title tags I liked, straightforward and to the point. You have Miami personal injury lawyer, and again, Miami personal injury lawyer. And then right here, you have the name of the firm and then Miami personal injury lawyer. So let's go ahead and go into more specifics, and here's some best practices. So for your practice area pages, you want to make sure that practice area and firm name are within 60 characters if possible. If it goes longer, that's okay, but have the practice area first. And then if your name gets cut off, no big deal. So here's an example: personal injury lawyers, Smith and Associates law firm. So the Smith and Associates law firm might get truncated in Google search, but that's okay as long as you just have the main practice area at the very front. Location pages, again, kind of the same thing here, but you want to have a geo keyword in there like Chicago. So for example, Chicago criminal defense lawyer, Davidson Law Partners. For subcategory pages, again, along the same lines: motorcycle accident lawyer, personal injury, Miller Law Firm. So long story short, you just want to have your primary keywords at the beginning of the title tag, and anything that's not as important as far as SEO is concerned, like the name of your law firm, we want that at the end of each title tag. And then blog posts, again, kind of the same thing. You just want to have the main keywords as close to the front as possible. Another often overlooked area of SEO is URL slugs. So essentially, it's just how your URL looks. So right here, I have an example of this red box and how it's organized. So you have Utah motorcycle accident attorneys. So again, you just want to have the keywords separated by dashes in the URL slugs. You don't want any lowercases in your URLs. You don't want any capitalizations. Keep it very simple and straightforward. URL slugs, like the title tags, actually affect your rankings. So you want to make sure these are keyword optimized. And then I have some recommendations here as well as far as URL slug best practices for either a law firm that's focusing on a single location, which I actually don't recommend, or a law firm that's trying to focus on multiple locations. So for single location law firms, again, I don't recommend this, but if you're just all in on Chicago or you're all in on Salt Lake City or Los Angeles or Miami, then this would be the approach I would take. But again, as your law firm grows, you're going to want to keep that in mind. So if you're just really focusing on one market, that's okay for now, but maybe build your website for the future and have a multiple location focus at the beginning. But if you are going to have a single location, really just keep your URL slugs simple and just don't have a complicated subfolder organization here. So here we have, site.com/Miami-accident law. And then for multiple locations, you're actually going to have a subfolder for each location. So for example, .com/Miami/accident law. So the difference between the two is that one is organized into a subfolder, so the Miami subfolder, and one is not. So as you can see here for multiple locations, you'll have the Miami subfolder, and then right here we have a different location in Boca. So when you're focusing on multiple locations, you just want to have each location have its own subfolder, and you want to have these URL slugs, again, just be very straightforward with the keywords separated by dashes. Last but not least, your law firm is going to really want to focus on its header structure, specifically its H1s. So an H1 is just the main heading of the page. So for practice area pages, you want to lead with the specific legal service and location, followed by value proposition. So unlike a URL slug or a title tag, you actually have room here to kind of sell yourself a little bit. So here's an example that I wrote up. So criminal defense attorneys in Boston, protecting your rights since 1995. For sub-practice pages, again, kind of the same thing. Motorcycle accident lawyers, experienced vehicle collision attorneys. Again, just keep it as specific as possible with those subcategory pages. For blog posts and informational pages, again, you can kind of be a little bit more clickbaity with your H1s. So how much does a divorce cost in California? Expert legal guide. So the expert legal guide would entice the user to keep reading. Final thoughts with on-page signals is you really want to focus on the URL slugs, the title tags, and the H1s. When you have your primary keywords in all three, that's really going to impact more than you think how your pages rank in Google. Now, having optimized header tags, title tags, and URL slugs is a great start. You're really going to want to focus on great content. So something what I like to do is once I have all of that optimized, look at already what's ranking in the top 3 in Google and see what your competitors are doing. If they answer more questions on their page or their landing page just has a better user experience or whatever it is, make a landing page that's better than theirs, either with more content, with more visualizations, with more value propositions. These are great starts, but really where the power comes in is when you create a very useful landing page for potential clients. The last ranking factor I'm going to discuss is super important. Again, I feel like no one's really talking about it in 2025, is internal linking. So the approach I like to take with internal linking is called a hub and spoke approach. So let's go ahead and dissect this a little bit more. So a hub page is going to be any location, subcategory, or practice area page on your website. So essentially any money-making page on your site that you have, you're going to want to link to supporting pieces of content. So let's say, for example, your truck accident page. At the very bottom and throughout the page, you want to link to other pieces of content on your site that talks about truck accidents. So this does 2 things. One, if your users, aren't quite ready to give you a call or fill out a form, they could read more information on your site that's related to truck accidents. So it's good from a user standpoint. From an SEO standpoint, what this does is it gives Google that web that we talked about earlier. So let's say you have a blog, that's ranking really well for what to do when you get in a motorcycle accident. and it's just getting a ton of organic sessions. It's a big missed opportunity if that blog post is not linked to that practice area page, just because if it is, you're passing on a lot of SEO value to that practice area page, and that's going to help you rank in Google. So, long story short, on all of your money-making pages, make sure you're linking to blog posts that are talking about whatever that money-making page is about. And then same with your blog posts. Make sure your blog posts are ranking to your money-making pages. Last but not least is linking to your Google business profile throughout your site. So you're going to want to have your Google business profile linked on your homepage, on your About Us page, on your locations pages, all throughout your site, just because that gives Google a really strong sense that, hey, this is a very legitimate business. They're linking to it all throughout their website, and it really helps your Google business profile and your map paths rankings. Thank you for watching today's YouTube video. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and or my email newsletter, where I'll be writing about how to generate more cases for your law firm through Google search.